Hi, I'm Jennifer, the game pioneer. I'm here today to give you a kind of a large update and also to talk about Bitoku. I have to apologize for the damaged box. I went to Strategicon and the bellman clearly mistreated the box. Very irritating, but these things happen. All right, so the update for the channel. I am no longer going to be regularly scheduled on Game Brain podcast. I may appear from time to time, but I won't be part of the rotation. However, I am starting a vlog on this channel. And so it's going to have seasons, and then it's going to have other stuff as part of the vlog. The first season is going to be on representation in board games. For those of you who know me, that's a big topic for me. And I'll be doing a lot of interviewing. I'll be interviewing a Thai person, Paul, from Game Brain. I'll be interviewing Jackie Chow from Show Me How to Win. I'll be interviewing another friend of mine from Oregon who is a Chinese lesbian. I'll be interviewing a gay man. I'll be interviewing a white Christian. I'll be interviewing an Indian person. And just to get their thoughts and others, as I talk with people on how they see themselves represented in the board game hobby and what changes they would like to see. And the first vlog will be the next video after this one, discussing my experiences at Dice Tower West. Today is February 28th, and I'll be leaving for Dice Tower West on Wednesday morning. And hopefully, I'll have a great time and a lot of positive things to say. So, on to the, main entree, Bitoku. Bitoku is an up to 4-player worker placement game. And looks very busy. If you look at the board, you're like, whoa, what is all this? However, the game is way simpler than what the board would suggest. Like I said, it's pure worker placement. There is no question. However, it does bring some interesting things to the table. There are 4 seasons: the spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And of course, the spring is how you set up for the main part of the game, which is the summer part. At the start of the game, you basically start out with your player board and then the main board. And so on your player board will be 3 dice and various areas to put various things. Like your hand will consist of 4 yokai cards, and you'll be able to play those onto the board. Playing a card is a way to unlock one of the 3 dice that are on your board. The dice are your workers that you'll be moving first from a locked position on the board and then to an unlocked position. Then later, you'll be able to move the dice, or the die, actually, it's just one die per action, to the board. And when you do, you'll get, in the initial area, you'll get the ability to do 2 different actions. First is wherever you place the die, which could give you, various bonuses. And then if there are any buildings that have been built in the area that you placed on, you can use those as well. Now, what's kind of interesting is that when you place on the initial set of choices, your die has to be equal to or greater than the die, any dice that are already there. And there's a variant where they have to be greater than. And so you're probably thinking, so everybody just places sixes. Well, no. There's a couple of reasons not to only place sixes. First of all, okay, so once you're on one side of the board, which is the forest side, and then there's this river that goes across, and then there is another side of the board where you can get more significant bonuses. Well, when you move your die in a different action than when you first moved it from your player board to the original worker placement spaces, when you move it over the river, you have to reduce the die by 1 pip, unless it's a 6 die, and then you have to reduce it by 3 pips. So, like I said, you may not really want to necessarily try to put nothing but sixes on the initial worker placement part. Then, once you get over the river, you can, actually all through the game, but on the other side of the river, there's this huge, set of, I think they are Japanese style buildings, and there's various places that you can go up on the buildings using some of the actions on the second side of the board. The game also has objective cards, and what's a little different is that the objective cards are visible to everybody. Everybody knows what your objective cards are, and you can get as many as you choose to, or every time you take the action that can give you objective cards, there's no limit. Then on your board, and the objective cards, of course, give you points, but they also can lose you points. When you go to the objective card stack, you draw 2 and choose 1. But if you don't like either of the choices, especially because you can lose points if you don't fulfill them by the end of the game, then you can just take a resource. Resources, you start with cards, your 4 starting cards, or 5 starting cards actually, but you only draw 4. Most of them have resources on them, and then the places on the board, other places other than, the first parts I was telling you about, also give you resources, or they can require resources. So, you're managing that, and then, you're also trying to put together a little puzzle piece where that you can work with crystals and other things that give you bonuses either when you activate a die on your board or at the end of the round. I guess it's at the beginning of the next round. So, you can, there's also spaces on the board where people are competing to be in first place, second place, third place, which gives, at the end of the game, points for first place, second place, and third place. And, that's also a way to get points. Is it a point salad? It depends on how you define a point salad. I define a point salad as worker placement where it doesn't really matter where you place. And you place here, you place there. Here, I think you need a focus. So let's say you're going to go after those forest actions, or maybe you're going to go after the buildings and get points there, or maybe you're going to get points on your board. I'm not convinced. In fact, I'm sure of it. You can't just go, okay, well, right now I can do this. This is the easiest. So I'll do that and expect to win against competitive players. So, I found, so let me also talk about the deck building aspect, because in the part over the river, on this side of the river, you can add cards to your deck. And during the winter phase, you can eliminate cards from your deck and get victory points, but you don't have to. Then the counter moves, and there are 4 rounds in the game. At the end of the 4 rounds, you have a winner. The game also has a solitaire mode, but I don't play solitaire board games, so I really can't comment on that. There's a lot of icons. However, the player aids explain them very, very well as explaining how to, it explains the game order and what you're doing during each round. It also explains the final scoring. Don't forget the final scoring, because some of it is not obvious. So, I have played this game 6 times, and I really enjoy it. As I say, it's not as complex as the board makes it look like. I did not find it to be particularly fiddly. I thought that I could understand what was going on and how to do what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I'm terrible at the game. The last time we played, there was no point in me even trying to do a final scoring. I was so far behind. So that's kind of sad, But it doesn't matter. I will set goals for myself in the next game. And even if that goal might not be to win the game, maybe I can come in second or third next time. But for some reason, it's a harder game for me to wrap my head around. So, Bitoku is done by DeVere Gaming. It has been in kind of scrappy availability. I'm not sure if it's even hit the online retailers yet. But if you like worker placement, I would highly recommend it. Now, I hope you have enjoyed this little short foray into the game. And naturally, there are plenty of other videos on Board Game Geek that will go into much greater detail than I have done here. I hope you have a great day and a great week. And thank you very much for watching.